Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy and you can find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. Okay, good morning guys. How are you doing? How is the new year treating you? I have been busy and it feels like the new year is on full swing. So let's get started talking about some knitting. If you are new here, this is a knitting podcast, and sometimes I'll talk about crochet because I do crochet too. I love it, but this will not be one of those times. Other than some patterns that I am going to show you, I saw the cutest, I saw one really gorgeous crochet sweater that I want to share with you, but I also saw something adorable that I think my daughter would love for Easter. So I'm going to share that with you too. But first things first, let's jump into admin. So if you are new here, I give away a knitting pattern once a week. And the way that you enter is you just leave a comment down below and I will put the video link in a random YouTube comment picker. And if it picks you, I will put your name up on screen. You can reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry. Let me know what pattern that you want and I will gift it off to you. With all of that said, the winner, I am going to put the winner of last week's pattern right here. Okay guys, so if that was you, like I said, just reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry. Okay, what should we start off with first? You know what? Let's take a second. I am going to talk to you a little bit about my knitting journey up until now. I am a 39-year-old woman from southeastern Michigan and I love to knit, but I started out crocheting. I started out crocheting when my son was about 6 months old. So I had a new baby and I was a new mother and I was looking for something to do to kind of keep my mind busy because my mind will go like 1,000 miles a minute sometimes. So anyway, with all of that said, I taught myself how to crochet on the internet using a combination of blog sites and YouTube and books. And this was about 14 years ago now. So after my daughter was born, so 10 years ago, I decided to teach myself how to knit. Because I had always wanted to knit. I had always looked at knitting patterns and thought, wow, those garments are gorgeous. I love them. I would love to know how to knit. And I kept just getting kind of stuck and stopping and just giving up. So after my daughter was born, I decided that I was going to kind of stick with it this time. So I did. And it's very interesting because like for the first couple of months knitting, every time I made a mistake, I would have to like take the whole thing off the needles. I had no clue how to fix anything. And eventually I got better and here I am. So in case you were ever wondering how I learned how to knit or crochet, that's it. I've never had any in-person teaching or anything like that. Some of my family members have crocheted and I believe knit, but I've never like done it with them and they've never taught me anything. So I've done all of my learning through the great wide internet and I'm very thankful to everybody that makes tutorials on YouTube and just websites because you really helped me learn. So with all of that said, let's talk about my garment because this is the Outcrop by Rachel Illsley. And this was my first ever full all over colorwork sweater. Now, I have a couple of picky things about this that I don't like, including the neckline. And I've chosen not to take it out because I'm just lazy. I haven't really felt like doing it. I probably should. It's not that bad, but I feel like if I took off the ribbing, I could bring it in a little bit and kind of cinch it up some so that it stands up a little bit. The problem that I had with this sweater was that I cast on for a larger size than I needed, and then I kind of changed sizes right after the ribbing. So you can tell definitely I should have taken it out, but it's actually, let me see. I should have taken it out, but I didn't. It's just one of those things. As you kind of grow as a knitter, you learn and you hopefully gain knowledge and experience so things like this don't happen. Of course, if you watched last week, you saw my friend-to-friend shawl, or friend-to-friend capelet, and I messed up the neck on that one too. And I've been thinking about it, and I've read some of your comments, and I'm going to take the neck out and just cinch it in more, bring it in a little bit more, do the decreases, work them a little more. I should have done that, but I kind of got, I had been working on it, and you know, do you guys have this issue where you're working on a project and you really want to finish it and it's just not getting finished, and maybe it's hurting your hands, or maybe there's something shiny over here you want to work on, and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm done with this. So that's what happened with that. So I think tomorrow I'm going to take out the neck and rework it, and then I'll show it to you guys next week to see how it looks. Okay, that is kind of what's been going on through my mind, but let's talk a little bit about what I've been knitting. So you guys have been kind of on my journey with me to knit my baseline cardigan, and as you can see, it is, I don't want to say done because it's not blacked and I have a couple of ends that need to be sewn in, but it's really, really close. So let me see, I'm going to show it to you from the back because, well, I'll show it to you from the back because you can see all of the colors, and then I'll show it to you from the front. So I'm loving it, and this is what it looks like on the front. And it's a V-neck. And I'm trying to kind of decide what kind of buttons I want, but I haven't figured it out yet. I have such a problem picking out buttons. I envy you guys that can kind of look at a garment like this and say, hey, I know what the perfect buttons would be, because that's never happened to me. And the buttons that you use for something can make or break what you're working on. So I don't know what would go good with these. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. I mean, I'm at a loss. The only thing I can think of are like just some small round, like either black buttons or wooden buttons. And I don't know. I don't know what would be best. I feel like the buttons should probably be kind of toned down a little bit, just because the cardigan is not toned down, but I really want them to look nice. Now, did I even mention who wrote this pattern? I kind of just started talking about it. This is the baseline cardigan. This is from Susanne Sommer, and it is knit in DK weight yarn, but I used fingering weight yarn, so I kind of reworked quite a bit of the numbers to get the length that I needed, the size that I needed. This is knit from garter stitch, and you're doing it side to side, so basically up and down. So like that, and I have loved knitting this. I've loved the way that it turns out, or it turned out, and I used Blackbird Sycamore Yarns Advent Calendar for this year. So these are a bunch of mini skeins, and the actual, see my ends, and the actual pattern you can use any amount of colors that you wanted. I believe that the sample is knit in 2 colors, and maybe there's a 1 color as well. But I decided to kind of go big and use a whole Advent worth of colors. So I believe there's 24 in here. And the neutral that I am using is called Paper. And it is also a Blackbird Sycamore yarn color. And it's just a neutral that I really like and I really thought would benefit from... I really thought that the Advent would benefit from. So as you can see, I'm striping it throughout the body and the sleeves. And I am using twisted ribbing, which is pretty standard for me. I use twisted ribbing pretty much anywhere that I can. Anywhere that I feel like it won't mess up, like it's not going to mess up the design somehow. So what else can I tell you about this? I can say that the original pattern had a split hem, and I did not do that. I actually picked up and knit around the entire bottom of the hem. So it's all in one piece, it's not split. And then I knit the button band. So as you can see right here, the original pattern does not do that. It does not have that split right there. You actually knit the neck and the button band and the front part of the ribbing on the bottom all together as one piece. But because I didn't split it, I just knit the whole bottom hem ribbing together and then knit the button band and the neck as one piece. But other than that, I really love it, and it's really soft and squishy, and I can't wait to finish it, but I really do need to block it and sew in the various ends that I have. I have most of the ends sewn in. I think I just have 2 or 3 that are left somewhere, but I also don't have the buttons on. I ran out of time. I finished this just a little bit ago, so I actually finished it last night. I was up last night, and it was like 11 p.m. and I'm watching Bones because for some reason I'm completely loving watching Bones right now. I've never seen it before, but I'm all into it. So I realized last night that because I finished it, I wouldn't have time to block it. I mean, there was no way it would dry in time, so it is what it is. What else have I been working on? So I'm trying to figure out, should I show you my Wildflower Pullover or... Okay, I will show you that. Let me see here. I have pulled this back out because I did finish the baseline. And I'm kind of attached to yarn cones here. So let me kind of straighten this out. Let me do this. This is the Wildflower Pullover. And I'm actually going to explain what this is that I am using to hold it in just a second. But this is a test knit by Andrea Gaughan. And I am using, what am I using? I am using Holst Garn Tides. It is 70% wool and 30% silk. And I'm using it on these cones. I have 3 colors. I've got a cream, a black and a red. So this is how it's looking. And I actually just picked this back up. So since you've seen it last, I've only done just a little bit up here. But I'm hoping to get through quite a bit this next week because I do have Monday off, and I'm really grateful to have Monday off. So I'm hoping that I can get some progress done on this. I have, and I was looking at the pattern, I have I think another repeat and a half to go before I start thinking about the next something other than just repeating the pattern up. But I wanted to show you guys this. Now, this is something that I grabbed from Etsy. So I will link the shop so that you guys can take a look. Now, the reason that I got this is, so I really wanted a chart keeper, and I've gotten the ones with like the magnets before, and they always come undone, or I've used like the rulers that are magnet and you kind of pull them down, and those always mess up for me. So I started looking on Etsy for a chart keeper, and I had really wanted one that wasn't plastic, and maybe that would last a little bit longer than the other ones that I've had. And I saw this, and I thought that this was really cool. This has like an elastic band, and as you're working your chart, and I'm not using the chart because I don't want to show you the chart on the screen, but as you're working the chart, you pull it down and it will keep your row. So the Etsy shop was really cool. You can actually have something engraved right there, like wood burned, but I didn't have anything. I had just wanted a plain one, but I thought that this was really neat, and I was super excited when it came. I believe it came all the way from Poland, so it made me neat, and it came with a sweet note that said thank you for supporting my small business. So I thought it was cool. I was really happy to find that on Etsy. I'm always looking for like tools that will help with knitting that I can purchase on like a shop that somebody actually makes, and what am I trying to say? Something that you might not find if you go to like a Walmart, stuff like that. But this is my Wildflower Pullover, and I'm very excited about it. This yarn, this Holst Garn Tides, is so soft, and this is knit from Super Soft by Holst, and this is not as soft as this. This is way softer, and in fact it's really crazy to kind of feel the difference, especially with this being called Super Soft. But I'm very much looking forward to kind of getting more progress on this over the next week. Now, what else do I want to show you? I showed you my chart keeper, and like I said, I will put the information up on the screen of, generally like I always do, I put the information up on the screen of the pattern that I'm talking about, and where you can find everything. But this is the other thing that I've cast on, and I actually started making this for a friend. This is a Musselburgh, and this is a hat by Ysolda Teague, and I'm sure by now you guys have heard of this. This is probably my favorite hat pattern. I love it because I have a bunch of single skeins of sock yarn, and this pattern, if you do it just right, can kind of use up the entire thing. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I like the idea of being able to knit almost an entire skein of yarn and not having much in the way of leftovers. So this is knit from black number 40 from Blackbird Sycamore Yarn. And yeah, just like my Advent, you're gonna see one more thing from Blackbird Sycamore Yarn today. And I have a lot of her yarn. I tend to stick with a handful of dyers, and I think it's because I love their colors and I love their bases, and why ruin a good thing, right? But like I said, this is black number 40, and I am knitting this for a friend who said that they needed kind of like a couple of hats and that they really like gray. So gray or like a darker color. And this is definitely both of those things. So I have a bit to go on it, obviously. Generally, when I'm knitting a Musselburgh, I will knit until I have about 10 grams of yarn left to do the decreases on it. And that typically works pretty well. I guess it really depends on how thick the yarn base is. For this yarn, I will knit until I have 10 grams left. There are other ones that I will kind of adjust based on what yarn I'm using. I think that's pretty much it for the yarn, like the stuff that I've been knitting on. I am going to pull back out my ranunculus and work on it. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I finished the baseline, and I have the Wildflower Pullover, but that is such, you really need to kind of pay attention as you're knitting that. And once you get past like the ranunculus, the pattern and the yoke, then you're kind of home free. So I'm hoping that I can get past that lace pattern, and then I'll have some more round and round knitting to kind of swap out with my Musselburgh. But let me talk about this next, because I had wanted to mention this, and I was going to mention this last week, but it came the day that I podcasted, and it just didn't turn out right. So this is actually, I've mentioned this before. This is a yarn subscription box that I pre-ordered. When did I pre-order it? I pre-ordered it last month sometime. So this is called a Swanky Stargazing Yarn Subscription Box. And this is the yarn that came in it. And this is January 2025, and I think that that's really pretty. And this is dyed by Blackbird Sycamore Yarn. So whenever I found out that she was going to have a yarn subscription box, I immediately kind of wanted to go kind of rush out and order it. So that's what I did. And this is what it says in here. It says Mars in motion. This month we look to the fiery red planet as Mars takes center stage as its closest approach to Earth. Something that only happens every 780 days. Oh wow, I never knew that. It says, known for its bold, determined energy, Mars inspires courage and action, both in the stars and on our needles and hooks. Astrologically, Mars represents drive and passion. This is the perfect time to channel its influence into bold and creative projects. Let your stitches reflect your inner strength as we embrace the celestial power of Mars. So, I thought that this was a really pretty skein. And this is actually DK, which is really cool because I know that a lot of the yarn subscription boxes have fingering. So I was really excited to kind of get this in DK. But let me show you what else I've got right here. This came with this bag. And it says Swanky Stargazing Yarn Subscription Box. So it's just a little kind of bag. And I'm going to use it. Maybe I'll make, I don't know. So see, the thing about this yarn subscription box is that they said that all of the colors will be able to go together. So I don't know, because I kind of want to make a hat out of this. I don't have that much DK, and that's why I want to make a hat out of it. But also, if the colors go together, then maybe I could use them like to make a big project, like a blanket or something. So I don't know, but I will put up the information of where you can pre-order this, because I believe it's Swanky Mountain. There's a yarn shop, and I'll put up a link so that you can take a look at it. But I really like this, and I was excited to get it, and I'm going to be even more excited whenever, after I'm filming this, I go pre-order the next one. My husband, probably not so much, but that's okay. He's been a really, a big sweetheart, kind of helping me. I told you guys this, right? He kind of helped me go through all of my yarn and kind of helped me label everything and sort it all by different weight yarns. And I mean, there's not a ton of it, but just to be able to do that. And I know that he's not a big like knitter or yarny person, so he could pretty much care less about my yarn stuff. So it was very sweet of him to help me. I want to tell you that I took all of the hats, or well, my husband did. I stayed home with my daughter, but he took all of the hats with my son to the bake sale, and they sold about half of them, and they raised quite a bit of money. And then I believe at the end of January, they're also doing a small sale for the talent show, so they're going to take the rest of the hats there. And I was really excited. I'm not going to tell you how much they raised, but I was really impressed with how much they raised, because I helped do that, and it made my heart really happy. So I ended up, I think, and I'll probably correct myself if I'm wrong, but if you're really curious, you can go take a look at my Instagram. I think I ended up with like 34 hats. Actually, I had 35, but I forgot to tag one, so they only took 34. So 34 hats, 2 scarves, and then a headband. So I was pretty happy with those numbers. I don't think I'll be making any more before the next time. I just have so many projects like on the needles right now. It's kind of like making me nervous, so I don't want to cast on any more hats. At least not right now. Although my daughter will be in 8th grade in 4 years, so maybe if I start now, I can start making hats for her 8th grade fundraiser. So we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna start sharing with you some patterns that I found on the internet, and these have come from a variety of different places. Some of them come from newsletters I receive, some of them come from comments that other people leave, and I'm going to show you one from a comment from last week. Somebody mentioned that they were knitting this, and I've never seen this before, and I just thought that it was really cute. But anyway, first of all, I'm gonna talk about this one. This is actually a new pattern, and it's called the Core Memory Cowl, and it's from Shana S. Cohen. This is Shana Lines Designs, and I thought that this was really cute. This came to me in a newsletter because I'm subscribed to her newsletter, And if you take a look and you read the pattern, if you read the pattern description on Ravelry, this pattern is meant to basically showcase a skein of hand-spun yarn. So it is knit in DK weight yarn, and it says, I create designs that are fun to make, fun to wear, and involve intentional detailing. Core Memory Cowl uses my own hand-spun yarn along with coordinating hand-dyed DK weight yarn. It is completely reversible cowl designed in 3 sizes. The design is a meditative knit that highlights a special skein of yarn with coordinating color. It's embedded with core memories of place and making. So I thought that the design on this was really cool. And I also really like how she's wearing it, and I'm not doing justice with these black and white pictures, so I am putting up pictures on the screen of the different ways that she's wearing it. She's got one where it's kind of over her head. She has one where it's like a big loop. I really like it. And then one kind of where it's this one where it's double folded and it's not that big of a loop. But it says that there's 3 sizes and it's going to use between 375 and 900 yards. It is knit in DK weight yarn and the gauge is 18 stitches and 36 rows, is 4 inches in garter stitch knit flat. So I thought that that was really cool. And you know what? It says that it uses brioche tuck. So I am really interested in how those stripes, where you kind of use both of those colors, are made. So I'm guessing that's what she uses. So if you guys can hear my kids in the other room, it's because they're playing, what are they playing? Earlier they were playing Super Mario Odyssey. They might be playing Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers or Super Mario Odyssey. But whatever it is, they're like screaming and laughing and having a blast. So if you hear any of those noises, I apologize. That's what it's coming from. Okay, I ran across this, and this is the pattern that I was talking about when I mentioned that I think my daughter would think this is adorable for Easter. This is a bunny basket, right? And if you take a look, this designer has kind of candy in the basket, but you could use this for like Easter eggs or anything. So this is a crochet pattern, and it says it uses sport weight yarn. It says that the height is 20 centimeters or 7.9 inches. The width is 11 centimeters or 4.3 inches. And then it says you've got, well, the pattern includes these eggs. And I don't know if you can see them very well, but there's a little egg and a big egg. And those are also kind of included in this pattern. But for anybody who likes knitting, kind of like the amigurumis or the plushie, like the plushies, or has little kids in their lives or grandkids, this is a really cute pattern to make. At least I would think so. If you've seen previous podcast videos, you'll know the doll that I knit for my daughter, that also used a 2mm hook. So this is a new pattern, and it in fact just came out. So I thought that it was really cute, and it is also only like $3. Okay, so this is one of those patterns that came up in my highlights, and this is the Sylvie sweater, and I need a sweater like this. And where is it? Right there. I need a sweater like that so bad. That looks incredibly comfortable, doesn't it? This is definitely a lounging around sweater. And I don't know about you guys, but I live in Michigan in the United States. And all I keep hearing about and people keep asking about is the polar vortex going to hit? Is it going to be super cold for you guys next week? And I keep getting emails from our local news saying colder temperatures upcoming, and I'm completely over it. I won't even open the weather app because I don't want to know. So that is why I need one of these sweaters, and I have some Aran weight yarn that would be perfect. In fact, I think I have some Aran weight yarn from Drops in pink, and I think that would be incredible. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should think about doing this. This is an Aran weight sweater, but it's actually some yarn held together. So it's got like a fluffy yarn, and then you hold a mohair with it. So it's got 8 sizes available, which is pretty good. Now, if I knit this, I don't think I would hold it. I would hold 2 yarns together. I think that I actually have some larger Aran weight fluffy yarn. So that would be kind of my choice with that. But I don't know if I have enough. So that's going to be one of those things I have to think on. It says that your gauge is 16 stitches and 21 rows equal 4 inches. And the needle size is 5 millimeter and then 6 millimeter. Your yardage is between 1,200 and 2,045 yards. However, keep in mind that they're holding yarn double. So that's going to change the amount of yarn that you need if you don't do that. It says cozy textured long body sweater. This slouchy sweater with soft texture has a neutral silhouette with dropped shoulders, a crew neckline, and wide sleeves with oversized ribbing around the cuffs and hem, giving to its laid-back character. It is worked from the top down. The model in this picture is 5 feet 6 inches tall, or 169 centimeters, and wears a size 2. So this is kind of explains the yarn that they use. It says you use skeins of Lalu Knits Fluff by Crea Cat, which is about 50 grams to 110 meters, and it's super fine alpaca, wool, and cotton. Ooh, that sounds good. And then you also use skeins of Silk Kid mohair. So, I mean, I have no doubt that that sweater would be amazing to wear. But I don't know if I'm going to be holding any skeins double to kind of make a sweater, just because it can kind of get pretty expensive. So, okay. I saw this one and I wanted to mention it, and I know I don't always mention, I don't mention a lot of shawls, but I do like Stephen West, and I love his sweaters, so I wanted to mention this because it's coming up. This is the Gossamer shawl. And I love his designs, and I really do appreciate kind of all of the colors that he uses and the unique kind of constructions and techniques. And it says that the Gossamer shawl is the Glow Along 2025 design. Cast on with us February 6th, and we will knit together throughout February until the knit along ends March 6th. Embrace your own pace. Sign up for the knit along anytime from January 17th onward by getting this pattern individually on Ravelry or westknits.com. So this uses yarn held together. So we've got lace plus lace equals fingering. And your gauge is 18 stitches and 36 rows equal 4 inches in garter stitch. You're going to need over 3,000 yards of yarn, which is a lot. And there's a reason. There's kind of a method to the madness. because it says he used 8 shades of our West Wool Glow Hair yarn, resulting in a fluffy cloud of soft stitches around the neck. So if you guys have any like mohair skeins of just random mohair, maybe you could get away with doing remnants of this, or maybe you could do it in 1 color or 2 colors. I mean, it's a Stephen West pattern, so there's no rule. I mean, there's no rules in any knitting pattern, right? So you can do whatever you want here. And it will be really cool to see everybody's kind of objects as they're working on them. I love seeing the works in progress on Instagram and kind of everybody's take. I've noticed one thing about Stephen West patterns is that everybody's creativity is kind of on, like, there's just so much creativity that people put into these finished objects that I love seeing them. Okay, so this is the pattern that I wanted to mention that someone commented on and said that they were working on. It was either last podcast or the podcast before. I can't remember, but it's called Zadie. And I thought that this was really pretty. I've never seen it. Hang on. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I thought that detail, the cable detail for the raglan, is just gorgeous. And I like just how simple and how intricate a design can be at the same time. So this uses Aran weight yarn too, and it comes in sizes extra small to 3XL, and it says that the finished bust sizes available are 34 1/4 to 34 1/4 to 60 inches, or 85.5 centimeters to 150 centimeters. So it says all finished sizes include approximately 4 to 5 inches or 10 to 13 centimeters of ease. So pick a listed size that is 4 to 5 inches or 10 to 13 centimeters larger than your actual bust measurement, or choose according to how much ease that you want. So I just thought that was pretty, and I've never seen it before. It looks like once upon a time it was a crafty kit that you could buy. And back whenever Crafty used to sell their kits and they had Cloudborne fibers and their Cloudborne yarn, I really did enjoy getting that yarn from them. But this used Cloudborne fibers Highland worsted. So I've never used the worsted before, but I believe I've used the fingering weight, and I made my kids 2 matching sweaters from a Crafty kit a long time ago. I mean, this came up in my Facebook memories, and it was like 4, 5, or 6 years ago. They were little, but anyways, if you're interested, I would take a look at it if you're looking for a very elegant top to wear. I love that detail. Okay, here we go. So my son is 14 now, and when he was little, I'm gonna go with probably from him being 1 year old to like almost 5 years old. He was obsessed with trains, and he loved Thomas the Train, and he loved everything about trains. And he even had a train bed, like a bed that was Thomas the Train. He was so enamored with everything train and all of the tracks. He would take tracks and like set them up in super elaborate designs, and it was a very big thing. So I saw this train cardigan and I wanted to mention it. First of all, this pattern is only $1.28, so that's incredible. This is a cardigan, and it is knit in DK weight yarn. And look at it. There's only one picture, but I thought that it was just so sweet. Now, you could do anything that you want with this. You could make the sleeves one color, or you could just make the entire body one color and then just put the little train chart there, or just the sky's the limit with this one. And for like $1 for a pattern, I mean, you can hardly go wrong here. It says the train is worked over 29 stitches and 30 rows. You can add the train along the back of the cardigan or both fronts. You would need to adjust the stitches accordingly. The train can be knitted in any color, or you can choose your own choice of background colors and do the sleeve in one color if required. So the sizes available are 4 to 5 and 5 to 6 years. So there's a smaller size, but I mean, that if you have a kid younger than 4 to 5, that's a great cardigan to grow into, right? And plus, all you technically really need is the chart. You could take that chart and put it on a hat. You could put it on a stocking. We have Thomas the Train ornaments. So, yes, we do. Okay, that's enough of that. This is a crochet pattern that came out that I thought was really like incredibly, I thought it was gorgeous. So this is called the Herringbone Herringbone Moss Sweater. So it says that you can basically design any fitted men's raglan sweater that you want. But here's the thing. I would totally wear this. I mean, I would wear this sweater, no problem. It says, crochet your own classic raglan's men's sweater. This versatile crochet pattern is designed for both men and women, featuring a stylish top-down raglan construction with classic clean lines that make it a perfect wardrobe staple for any season. With size adjustments from extra small to 5XL, it ensures a comfortable, flattering fit for all body types. So you use DK weight yarn, and it says that the suggested yarn is Premier Anti-Pilling DK, which I have used before and I really do like. I love it, especially for my kiddos, because it's one of those things that you can just throw in the washer and dryer. So it says you need between 1,575 to 3,740 yards. And it says that the skill level is intermediate, and it says it uses a herringbone half double crochet and single crochet, which I've never done before, but I kind of want to do this. So it's knit in DK weight, which means that it's not going to be overly like bulky, and it really doesn't look that. So I've made crochet garment patterns in the past, and one of the complaints that I've had about them is that some of them are just a little bit more bulky than I'd like. And I know that it's because of the yarn weight that I'm using most of the time. But sometimes it has a little bit to do with the stitches that you're using. But this pattern is using DK weight, and it's still very fitted and not bulky at all. So I wanted to share that because I do like it. And it says the supporting video tutorial makes this intermediate pattern accessible for even adventurous beginners. Crocheted using US single crochet and herringbone half double crochet stitches. I wonder what that involves. Anyways, it's crocheted in a size 4mm hook, which is a size G, which is unfortunately for me one of the sizes that I'm always missing. So The sizes for crochet that I use a lot are 4, 4.5, and 5. And I think 4 and 4.5 I can find like a couple of, so it's okay if I lose one, but my 5s just disappear. It's like they go into some vortex somewhere. Okay, this is called the Bloom Sweater, and I have this in my library. And I know what you're thinking when you look at this picture right here. You're thinking, there's a polar vortex. Why are you showing us summer sweaters? And the answer is that you can customize this. So it says, a simple floral design wraps around the yoke of this pretty sweater. The rest of the sweater has 3 options, 3 different sleeve options, and 3 different body options. So I'm showing you pictures, but I really like the tunic version of this sweater. I love the long sleeves and how the body kind of goes out like this. I think it's called A-line. So I've had this in my library, and it's been in there for a while. So I'm thinking that I should probably knit this sometime this year. And I do have some really nice silk yarn that I could use to make a summer version, because I don't have many summer versions of like sweaters, but I also don't, even like in the summer, I'm wearing fingering weight sweaters. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's going to take some thought. So it says that you can fit busts between 26 and 50 inches. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a very pretty kind of lace pattern around the yoke. And it does have popcorn stitches, but I'm sure you can figure out how to omit them. It says it's bottom up and you need between 850 to 700 yards. Obviously, that's going to depend a lot on what version of this sweater you want to do. But let me see, that one right there, except with A-line. I would love that. Yes. I'm already dreaming about this. I really do think that the lace around it is pretty. So it is perfect for spring, but it can also be perfect for summer. It says, with short sleeves and a light yarn, this sweater is perfect for spring or summer. With long sleeves and a cozy yarn, this sweater is a fall favorite. So it's almost like you buy one pattern and you can make it in 2 different ways and have 2 different completely different sweaters. And this pattern's only $5.80. So I just wanted to mention this one. It's been in my library for quite a bit. And this is, I meant to talk to you guys about this one last week. In fact, I even thought I mentioned it during the podcast that I was going to show you a poncho, and then I realized I didn't talk about it. So here it is. This is called the Alado poncho, and I think that this is really pretty. And I really do want something like this. So this is knit in worsted weight yarn, and this was actually originally in a knitting magazine. It says this poncho was initially released as caroling cape in the Holiday Knits 2014 issue of Love Knitting magazine. So it comes in sizes extra small to 2X. So it says, let this delightfully soft cape knit with sumptuous alpaca and merino yarn keep you toasty this season. So the suggested yarn is Blue Sky Fibers Surrey Merino, which is 60% Surrey and 40% merino. The cables entwined along the collar create exquisite visual interest, while the easy lace border provides a lovely finishing touch. The pattern is written with a chart for the collar pattern. So I'm hoping I'm putting up a picture of the collar because that's what originally drew me to this pattern, but also this picture right here. I really like that idea over having to wear a coat in the fall. So if that's something that would interest you, I really do think that that's almost like the perfect fall accessory. Would it be accessory? Possibly a garment. Probably a garment. I mean, it's way past accessory, right? It can use between 1,300 and 1,800 yards. It's way past accessory. But you guys know what I mean. It's almost like the perfect fall vibes, fall weather type outfit. And you can wear it while you're apple picking and all that stuff. Plus, now, this is something that would definitely benefit me being in a wheelchair. This is kind of something that I can get on and off without much fuss, and I don't have to worry about it dragging along the ground and things like that. I'm always looking for different patterns that are a little bit easier for me to wear, that I don't have to kind of worry about getting caught in my wheelchair wheels and things like that. But anyways, I hope you guys had fun with all of those patterns. I hope that you saw something that you want to knit, or you feel like, hey, I've never thought about making something like that, or that's a cool idea. So that's kind of what I'm going for. So anyways, I hope that you guys are having an awesome week. I hope that I see you guys next week. And if you did win last week's or this week, if I drew your name earlier, reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry and let me know what pattern that you want. If you want to enter for next week's giveaway, please leave a comment down below. That's all you have to do. That's the only rule, other than it has to be $15 USD or under. And what's the other rule? You can only win once a month. So I should have said that at the beginning, but I'm scattered today. So it is what it is. Anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you could, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, thanks guys. Bye.